One day, a teacher asks the kids in her class, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" Little Billy stands up proudly and says, "I want to be a billionaire, have a super cool partner by my side, give them a Ferrari, a fancy apartment in Copacabana, a mansion in Paris, a private jet to travel the world, a 200-foot yacht, an unlimited credit card, and I want to treat them like royalty every day." The teacher, stunned by the extravagance and maybe a little worried, decides to just move on. "Okay, and you, Nancy?" Nancy smiles and says, "I want to be Billy's super cool partner." A family was hosting guests for dinner one evening. As everyone gathered around the table, the mother turned to her 6-year-old daughter and said, "Sweetheart, would you like to say the blessing?" The little girl looked up, shy and uncertain. I don't know what to say." The mom smiled and gently said, "Just say what you hear Mommy say." The little girl nodded, took a deep breath, bowed her head and said solemnly, "Dear Lord, why did I invite all these people to dinner?" During a visit to my doctor, I asked him, "How do you determine whether or not an older person should be put in an old age home?" "Well," he said, "we fill up a bathtub. Then we offer a teaspoon, a teacup, and a bucket to the person to empty the bathtub." "Oh, I understand," I said. "A normal person would use the bucket because it is bigger than the spoon or the teacup?" "No," he said. "A normal person would pull the plug. Do you want a bed near the window?" The manager of a large office noticed a new employee one day and asked him to come into his office. "What's your name?" he asked the new guy. "John," the new guy replied. The manager scowled. "Look, I don't know what kind of a namby-pamby place you worked at before, but I don't call anyone by their first name. It breeds familiarity, and that leads to a breakdown in authority. I refer to my employees by their last name only. Smith, Jones, Baker. That's all. I am to be referred to only as Mr. Robertson. Now that we got that straight, what is your last name?" The new guy sighed. "Darling, my name is John Darling." "Okay, John. The next thing I want to tell you is..." A man comes home from the doctor looking serious. He tells his wife, "The doctor says I only have 20 hours left to live." His wife gasps. He gently asks, "Could we spend some special time together?" Naturally, she agrees, and they share a sweet moment. 6 hours later, he turns to her and says, "Honey, I now only have 18 hours left. Do you think we could spend some more time?" She smiles and says, "Of course, dear." Later that night, as he's getting into bed, he checks his watch. Only 8 hours left. He gently nudges her and says, "Sweetheart, maybe just one more time." She nods and says, "Sure." Afterwards, she rolls over and falls fast asleep. But he's restless. He watches the clock tick down. Now just 4 hours left. He softly taps her again and whispers, "Honey, I know it's late, but this might be my last chance." She sits up groggily and says, "Look, I have to wake up in the morning." "You don't." While traveling in China, a man was a bit careless about his health and didn't take the best precautions. A week after returning home to Sydney, he wakes up one morning and notices something alarming. His private area is covered in bright green and purple spots. Horrified, he rushes to see a doctor. The doctor examines him, looks puzzled, and says, "I've never seen anything like this. We'll run some tests. Come back in 2 days." 2 days later, the man returns and the doctor says, "I'm afraid it is bad news. You've contracted something extremely rare. It's called Mongolian VD. We don't know much about it, and there's no cure." Shocked, the man says, "Well, give me a shot or something. Fix it, doc." The doctor replies, "I'm sorry. We may have to amputate." The man leaps out of his chair. "What? Absolutely not. I want a second opinion." The doctor shrugs. "That's your choice, but surgery is the only option we know." Determined, the man goes to see a Chinese doctor the next day, thinking he might be more familiar with the condition. The Chinese doctor takes a look and says, "Ah, yes, Mongolian VD, very rare disease." The man nods. "Yes, I've been told that, but my doctor wants to cut it off." The Chinese doctor laughs and shakes his head. Typical Western doctor. Always want to operate. Make big money. Relieved, the man sighs. "So, no surgery?" The Chinese doctor smiles. "No need. Wait 2 weeks. It'd fall off by itself." One day, the wife comes home with a spectacular diamond ring. "Where did you get that ring?" her husband asks. "Well," she replies, "my boss and I played the lottery and we won, so I bought it with my share of the winnings." A week later, his wife comes home with a long, shiny fur coat. "Where did you get that coat?" her husband asks. She replies, "My boss and I played the lottery and we won again, so I bought it with my share of the winnings." Another week later, his wife comes home, driving a flaming red Ferrari. You guessed it. Her share of the lottery winnings. That night, the wife asks her husband to run her a nice warm bath while she gets undressed. When she enters the bathroom, she finds that there is barely enough water in the bath to cover the bath plug. "What the fuck is this?" she asks her husband. "Well," he replies, "we don't want to get your lottery ticket wet, do we?" I met a classy older woman at a bar the other night, around 60, but full of energy and charm. She looked amazing, and I thought to myself, if she has a daughter, she probably doesn't look too bad either. We had a few laughs and drinks, and then she asked, "Have you ever heard of something called a sportsman's double?" I blinked. "What's that?" I asked. With a sly smile, she said, "It's when you spend time with both a mother and her daughter." Now I'm thinking, wow, is this really happening? We have a few more drinks and head back to her place. As soon as we walk in the door, I can barely hide my excitement, and then she shouts up the stairs, "Mother, are you still awake?" A man walks into a watering hole with a large box and takes a seat at the bar. The bartender, curious, asks, "What's in the box?" The man says, "I'll show you if you get me a free beer." So the bartender gets the man a beer. The man drinks it, then pulls out a minuscule little man and a matching piano. The little man promptly starts playing the little piano. "Hey, that's pretty cool," the bartender says. "Where did you get that?" The man says, "I'll tell you if you get me another beer." So the bartender gets the man another beer. The man drinks it. "I got it from a genie in a lamp," he finally reveals. "Fully invested now." The bartender says, "If you let me borrow that lamp, I'll give you another beer." "Sure," the man answers. The bartender gets him another beer, and the man hands the bartender the lamp. The bartender rubs the lamp, and sure enough, a genie pops out. "You are now my master," the genie announces. "I will grant you one wish. What will it be?" The bartender immediately says, "I wish for $1,000,000. All of a sudden, 1,000,000 ducks start flying into the room. "What the heck is this?" screams the bartender, attempting to chase them out. "I wished for $1,000,000, not 1,000,000 ducks." The man, still sitting at the bar, responds, "Do you really think I wished for a 12-inch pianist?" There was this guy at a bar, just looking at his drink. He stays like that for a half hour. Then a big troublemaking truck driver steps next to him, takes the drink from the guy, and just drinks it all down. The poor man starts crying. The truck driver says, "Come on, man, I was just joking. Here, I'll buy you another drink. I just can't stand to see a man cry." "No, it's not that," the man replies, wiping his tears. "This day is the worst of my life. First, I oversleep and I go in late to my office. My outraged boss fires me. When I leave the building to go to my car, I find out it was stolen. The police say they can do nothing. I get a cab to go home. And when I get out, I remember I left my wallet. The cab driver just drives away. I go inside my house where I find my wife in bed with the gardener. I leave my home, come to this bar, and just when I was thinking about putting an end to my life, you show up and drink my poison. An elderly woman went to the store to buy some cat food. She picked up 3 cans, but the cashier stopped her, saying, "I'm sorry, but we can't sell this to you unless you prove you own a cat. Some seniors have been buying cat food for themselves, so we need to make sure it's for your pet." Unfazed, the woman went home, brought her cat back to the store, and was able to purchase the food. The next day, she returned to buy 2 cans of dog food. Again, the cashier requested proof, so the woman went home, fetched her dog, and returned, successfully completing her purchase. On the 3rd day, the woman came back with a small box that had a hole in the lid. She handed it to the cashier and said, "Would you mind sticking your finger inside?" The cashier hesitated, saying, "What if there's a snake in there?" The woman reassured her, "I promise there's nothing in there that could harm you." Reluctantly, the cashier put her finger in the hole, then quickly pulled it out, exclaiming, "That's disgusting." With a grin, the elderly woman replied, "Glad you agree. Now, can I buy 2 rolls of toilet paper, please?" Ever since I retired, my wife has insisted I tag along on her grocery trips. Like most men, I find shopping excruciatingly boring. I prefer to get in, grab what I need, and get out. But my wife, she loves to browse. Slowly, aisle by aisle. So to amuse myself, I got a little creative. Apparently, the store didn't appreciate my sense of humor. Yesterday, my wife received a formal letter from the store manager. It read, "Dear Mrs. Harris, over the past 6 months, your husband has caused multiple disruptions in our store. Despite repeated warnings, his behavior has not changed. Therefore, we regret to inform you that both you and your husband are no longer welcome in our store. Below is a list of the incidents we've documented via our security cameras. June 15, placed 24 boxes of condoms into random shoppers' carts when they weren't looking. July 8th, set all the alarm clocks in housewares to go off 5 minutes apart. July 7th, created a trail of tomato juice leading to the women's restroom. July 19th, informed a staff member with great urgency, Code 3 in housewares. There is no Code 3. The employee abandoned her post, filed a grievance, and the issue required management intervention. August 4th, tried to place a bag of M&Ms on layaway. August 14th, moved a caution wet floor sign to a carpeted area. August 15th, pitched a tent in the camping aisle and invited kids to bring pillows from the bedding section. 20 kids joined in. August 23rd, when a clerk asked if he needed help, he burst into tears and shouted, "Why can't you people just leave me alone?" Emergency services were called. September 4th, used a security camera as a mirror to pick his nose. September 10, while looking at firearms, casually asked the clerk, "Where do you keep the antidepressants?" October 3rd, ran through the aisles humming the Mission Impossible theme. October 6th, tried on funnels from the auto section to replicate Madonna's iconic look. October 18th, hid in a clothing rack and shouted, pick me," as shoppers browsed. October 22nd, curled into the fetal position during a loudspeaker announcement and yelled, "Oh no, not the voices again." October 23rd, took a box of condoms to the cashier and asked, "Where's the fitting room?" October 24th, entered a fitting room, closed the door, waited, then shouted, "Hey, there's no toilet paper in here." A staff member fainted. We sincerely regret having to take this step, but we cannot allow these disturbances to continue. Sincerely, the store manager. An elderly man is stopped by the police around 1 a.m. and is asked where he is going at this time of night. The man replies, "I am going to a lecture about alcohol abuse and the effects it has on the human body." The officer then asks, "Really? Who is giving that lecture at this time of night?" The man replies, "My wife." Two guys are walking through a game park, and they come across a lion that has not eaten for days. The lion starts chasing the two men. They run as fast as they can, and the one guy starts getting tired and decides to say a prayer. "Please turn this lion into a Christian, Lord." He looks to see if the lion is still chasing, and he sees the lion on its knees. Happy to see his prayer answered, he turns around and heads towards the lion. As he comes closer to the lion, he hears it saying a prayer. "Thank you, Lord, for the food I am about to receive.